So today I'm going to tell you about the extra credit of this class. So there are three opportunities for extra credit. All right, so the first opportunity for extra credit is a museum visit. If this is the first semester, then you have a requirement to go to the museum. But if you can do a second museum visit, that will be the extra credit. You can do an academic article summary, and you can also submit a survey at the end of the semester. The museum visit will get you 20 points towards your lowest exam score. The academic article summary will get you 10 points towards your lowest exam score. Completing the survey and submitting it will get you 5 points towards your lowest exam score. So let me explain how the museum visit works. First step, you're going to go to the art museum. There are two art museums in Houston. There's the Museum of Fine Arts and there's the Menil. If you're doing this the first semester, 1303, you have to go to you have to visit a museum. So you can choose either the Museum of Fine Arts or the Menil. And if you want to do it for extra credit for a semester, then you will go to the other one. So, for example, if you go to the Museum of Fine Arts for the assignment, then for the extra credit, you would go to the Menil, and vice versa. All right, the Museum of Fine Arts, giving you the address here so you can look it up and plan your map. It takes about 45 minutes to get there from Lone Star College. The tickets cost $20 to get in if you are 18 or younger. And if you're bringing family, it'll be $24 if you bring parents. It is free on Thursdays, and also Thursdays it stays open later. Whenever I used to take my students to the art museum, we would just plan to meet up there on Thursday afternoon after school, and then we could get in for free and look at the art. Parking is $10, and it's closed on Mondays and Tuesdays. The Menil is also 45 minutes from Lone Star, and it's free to go. It has free parking, and it's closed Mondays and Tuesdays. I have learned this semester or this year, that they don't allow photography anymore. We used to be able to take pictures in there. I used to be able to take pictures in there, and I went this last summer, and they were pretty adamant about not taking photos. And students have come back from the Menil saying they weren't allowed to take photos. This is going to be an issue with the extra credit, where I'm asking you to take pictures as proof that you were there. You can take pictures outside the museum, or you can find some other kind of creative way to prove that you attended the museum. And also, since they don't have tickets, you can't show me a ticket to prove that you were there. So you have to be creative. I don't know what the solution is, but you can be creative and find a way. All right, step two is to find an artwork whose date coincides with this semester of art history. If you're doing this during 1303, the first semester of this class, it's Paleolithic through the medieval era, all the stuff that we looked at in there. So both museums have artwork from this era. The Museum of Fine Arts has a lot more of art from 1303, but both museums will work fine. The Museum of Fine Arts also has a lot more work from the second semester. Menil is really good with surrealism, which is a modern art movement, and they're really good with like very current art or modern art. So Menil is really good with modern art. They have a room for Africa, they have a room for Oceania, and they have a room for the antiques. But it's they don't have as much money as the Museum of Fine Arts, so they don't have as much art. It's still a great museum to go to. You're going to collect proof that you attended the museum during the dates of this class. So this is to keep those people from who visited it, a year ago, you know, uh, during their summer vacation or when they weren't in this class. I want you to go during the time of this class. So you can't go digging through old photos of when you attended a long time ago. You have to prove that you went during this semester. Also, I want you to collect proof that you could find an artwork whose dates coincide with the artwork shown in this semester. So you can't just walk up to any random artwork and say, "Look, I found an artwork." I want you to find something that's related to something we studied in this class. The artworks that we're studying in this class, 99% of them are not coming from these museums. They're coming from, world-renowned museums, New York, Paris, London, places like that. So you're not going to find the exact artworks, but you can find artworks that are related to that. Yes, right. So yeah, you can find Renaissance art in both the Menil and the Museum of Fine Arts. You can find Baroque art at the Museum of Fine Arts. You can find Greek and Egyptian art at both museums. I will also allow the Science Museum has a big Egyptian exhibit. So if you're watching this during the first semester, 1303, and we studied Egyptian art in there, you can also go to the Science Museum because they have Egyptian art on display at the Science Museum. All right, it's a permanent collection. All right, so take a photo. Here's some examples, some suggestions of how to collect proof. Maybe you take a photo of the ticket that has the date on it. Maybe you take a photo of you with the ticket. Maybe you take a selfie in the art museum. Maybe you use your hands to indicate what year this is. This is a big thing that I do, especially on the tableau vivant and the Grand Manner portrait. Is I have the students flash the year that it is with their hands, so that proves that they're not pulling it off the internet. You can do that in the art museum. For example, 2024, you can just hold up the 2 and the 4. This is being recorded in 2025. After 2025, you can hold up like a 5 and a 1 for 6 for 2026. Does that make sense? Right. Here are some examples of students that were in my summer class this last summer, and this is the proof that they sent in. So he took a picture of the ticket with the artwork in the background and himself with the artwork holding up the 2. All right. So that's proof to me that he followed my instructions and he didn't just pull this image off the internet, because these are students that I never saw in person. So I don't know what he looks like. I don't know if it's really him, but he followed my instructions. That tells me that it's him. All right. That's proof that it's him. All right. Another student wrote the date on a piece of paper and held it up in the selfies. All right. So that's another way to prove that you attended during the dates of this class. So take a photo with an artwork that would have been created during the time periods that we covered in class. So that one that he's standing next to, he was taking my 1304 class, and so that would be Impressionism or an American Realism or something of that sort. And then also take a high quality photo of the artwork that fills the frame of your camera. Do not do this. Do not stand way back from the artwork. Right? That's not good. Zoom in or stand up a little bit closer. Right? That's a good photo of the artwork. And then step 4, put all of your photographic evidence into one PDF document and upload it to D2L. Do not give me a bunch of different photos. Put it in one document. All right, now the academic article summary. This one you've already done, or you will do an academic article summary for the Beast. Just follow the same rules as the Beast. Right? So just do another one of those. It must be near perfect, and I'm not going to accept half-hearted attempts for extra credit. All right, I want you to read the article and write 2 pages for the article and make it look good. So it's easy for me to read. It's easy for me to understand. All right, because in that assignment I asked for 2 pages. If it's 1 page, I'm not going to even look at it. And if it has none of the formatting, you don't have the footnotes, I'm not going to look at it. So just do another one of those. 10 points towards your lowest grade, your lowest exam grade. And post the article, because I might want to look at the article, and post the summary as a PDF. All right, and then the course survey. At the end of each semester, Lone Star sends you an email telling you to log or go into the course survey. I think it'll give you a link. So it'll give you a link and you click on it and it asks you a bunch of questions about how I taught the class. Right? Be honest, because I'm going to read those at a later date. The answers that you give will be completely anonymous. I won't know who said what, but show me that you submitted something and I'll give you credit. I won't be able to see what you submitted until after the class is over. And then I just see what people wrote or what people's responses were. And it doesn't give any names. All right. So complete the survey at the end of the semester. Watch your Lone Star emails for the dates, and then take a screenshot to prove that you submitted the survey, and then attach the screenshot to a PDF and submit it in D2L. So here are some screenshots from this last summer where students did this, and I can look like this student right here submitted my class and then also their speech class. This one is an email that was sent thanking her for committing or for completing the evaluation, and it has the name of the course. And then other students have submitted screenshots. So it's going to look, it should look like this. This is okay too. All right. However, whatever evidence you have that you submitted it, give it to me. I'll give you 5 points towards your lowest exam grade. Any questions about anything that we've covered?